Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. Made possible by listeners who have made secure donations at thecurlingshow.com. I'm Dean Gemmel, and in this edition, we talk to one of the more refreshingly honest players in the game. A lead who doesn't, unlike most, exactly fly under the radar. Ben Hebert, welcome back to The Curling Show.
Thanks for having me, Dean.
Well, Ben, it's your second time on the show, putting you tied with Jamie Korab and Corey Naharney for appearances among leads. But I have to admit that in your first interview, I thought you were a bit restrained, so I'm hoping for the unfiltered Ben Hebert today.
The unfiltered Ben Hebert would get me fired from my curling team. So,
fired from your curling team.
With my media training skills, I'll have to tone it down a bit, but I'll see what I can do. Pretty good company with Korab and Naharney.
Yeah. I just looked it up. It was sort of unusual. Well, Korab gets on every time, he gets dumped and then picked up again by Brad. That's when he gets on. So, if you get dumped, Ben, you're back on, So
yeah, well, you never know.
Leads.
You never know.
And Naharney gets on because he was an early listener of the show. Of course, it doesn't bode well. Actually, every lead who's been on has been dumped at some point.
Well, hey. You never know. If I keep moving corner guards into the rings, the old bear might have to find a replacement. Well, those guys could win with a monkey at lead anyway, so it's all good.
Well, if you want to hang up right now, just so we don't have the Curling Show curse on you, we could do that. But let's forge on.
That's all good.
Hey, another Alberta Provincial, another 3-win showing against Team Furby. The first two games filled with lots of weirdness, I guess. Burns, picks, red lights, but the last one was a blowout. Even taking into account that loss to Randy in the Casino Rama TSN Skins game, how confident are you guys when you get onto the sheet to play them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's awfully weird how many times we've beat them. I don't know the exact number, and I think it's close to 15. But yeah, we're very confident. I mean, you're usually pretty confident when you play anybody, but there's that extra little element when you play Randy's team. Just because of the long rivalry with him and Kevin, and they're our Alberta rival. Obviously, we're the two best teams in Alberta. And so you never want to give them an edge. And, we've had, out of those 15 games, I bet you 11 of them have come down to last rock. Yeah, so we've had some really good battles with them. And then it just seemed like in the final there, they didn't make enough shots. And, they usually put out a lot better fight than that. And, yeah, I don't know if it's in their head or if we're in their kitchen or whatever, but, they're not a team you like losing to, that's for sure. You like beating Randy Furby's team, and it feels good when you beat them.
There was a John on the show, John Morris on the show earlier in the year. He talked a little bit about maybe some complacency setting in with your team earlier this season. You guys were going to get back at it. Kevin talked about a meeting in a hotel room, I guess, at some point during the season when you guys talked about maybe being too complacent. If that meeting was part of a reality TV show, which one would it be like?
Maybe The Apprentice, I guess.
The Apprentice, really? And who plays the role of the Donald?
I would probably have to be the bear. Would have to be the Don.
Kevin is Donald, eh? It's either that or I was thinking, so it's not like Celebrity Rehab or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. There's no Celebrity Rehab going on here yet. But right. It wasn't anything that any of us weren't thinking. Anyways, we actually had a really good year. Like we won 3 out of our first 4 Bonspiels, and the only real difference this year is we didn't win any of the Grand Slams, and our record in the Grand Slams we're 18-3. We're losing the wrong games, and we just haven't been quite as sharp. Just a key shot here and there, and so it just came back down to basics and make sure we're practicing enough and putting in enough time and working hard. Because with the talent on our team, we could go out all the time and shoot 80 and 85.
Right.
But to be where we were last year when we were shooting 90, 95 as a team is where you wanted to be, and it takes that extra effort to do. And maybe we weren't doing it quite as much at the start of the year, but we got our little swagger back, and so we're ready to roll for the Brier.
I thought Kevin made a good point. He said maybe early in the year you got some wins in spiels when maybe you didn't quite deserve them because you didn't play quite as well as you have in the past, and that might have let you guys slide a little bit.
Yeah, possibly. I think there was also a couple spiels that we should have won when teams didn't play that good against us, and we blew games. Like we had Glenn Howard beat for fun in Brooks, and we had Wayne Madaw in the slam. We just let that one get away. We played terrible. We threw a couple bad ones away as well. And so, it goes both ways. I mean, to win a Bonspiel, it doesn't matter if it's winning Bonspiel or winning a Grand Slam or the Brier Provincials. You need breaks and you need other teams to miss. I mean, if a team goes out against you, it doesn't matter who it is, and they shoot 100%, you lose.
Right.
So, you need breaks, you need to take advantage of misses and things like that. And maybe we didn't do it as well as we had in the previous 2 years. But, we've won I think we're second in the world in cash, and we're headed back to another Brier, and for most teams it'd be a very successful year, and for us it's still a successful year as well. We just, because of the first 2 years we had, it was a little ridiculous, so we just got to work that extra bit harder to stay where we were at.
Yeah, I mean, you set the bar pretty high, you guys. You and Glenn Howard both, I think, are clearly separating yourselves from the rest of the field out there. Hey, talk about the field at the Alberta Provincials. We always talk about how deep Alberta is, how deep the province is, but at the same time, it certainly didn't seem like there were teams there, and with all due respect to teams like Ted Appleman and James Paul, it didn't seem like there were teams there that were going to be able to beat either you guys or even Randy enough to win the title. What's happened to separate, including what's happened to Team Cooey this year?
Well, I don't know about Coudog's team. I mean, they're four great players. I mean, from lead to skip, they're a great team, and I still think that they're one team that I don't like to play against. If they play well, you're going to be in for a heck of a game. And They just had a couple bad breaks here and there. I know Blake wasn't as sharp as he usually is. Like, Blake's a great player. He didn't play real good at Provincials, and when your skip's not playing well, you don't usually get the wins. I think that's kind of what happened to Provincials. I'm not sure about the rest of the year. I mean, they haven't had a terrible year.
No.
They've done okay. I mean, just like the same thing as for them as for us, is they had a huge year last year. So to come out and repeat that, lots of pressure on, and they want to do well, but there's lots of good teams out there to play in. And to be at the top of your game every single weekend and do as well as the year prior is not that easy when teams are trying to knock you off all the time.
And then the difference is so small at your level between winning and losing.
Yeah, like I said, it comes down to one end or one shot or a couple shots here and there, or a pick or a bad break or things like that. So, when there's teams out there that are hunting for you and really trying to play good against you, it's not always easy to rise to the occasion when you're in a semi-final in Lloydminster at a Bondsfield, and you always want to do good at every Bondsfield, but sometimes you just, like you say, you don't always have it. But I think that's maybe what's happened to them a bit this year. But, they're still a good team, and they're in the Canada Cup, and they're trying to defend there in the Players' Championship. And, I'd like to avoid them if possible, but if not, we'll have to go through them, I guess. What? But as for the Alberta Provincials, it's a great field. I mean, the only difference, I think, between, you see Manitoba and Saskatchewan and Alberta. In Alberta, Manitoba, you have the two or three, kind of big teams. Like playing out of the Saskatchewan Provincials for 2 years, there's lots and lots of good depth in Saskatchewan. And the only difference is they don't have a Martin or a Furby there. But they have lots of great teams, and those teams are very, very similar to the teams that are in the Alberta Provincials, like Jamie King, Ted Appleman, James Paul. Dean Ross is a good team, like teams you haven't heard of.
Right.
And those teams are all very capable of beating you if you're not sharp. If we go out and play our best and they play our best, yeah, we probably beat them. We're a little bit above them, I would say, in talent or caliber or whatever you want to call it. But if you're ever coming out lackadaisical thinking you're going to walk over those teams, they'll beat you. And they have beat us. I think we've lost all of them.
Right.
So
you come out with a B-plus game and they throw their A game. You're in...
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's to the point where if we play good, we're going to lose. I don't really think that's necessarily true with our team. I feel, and we all feel very confident that if we play good, we're going to win. But with those teams, like if it gets down to a one-game final, you never know what happens. So it is a deep field, and it's not easy to get out of Alberta. That's why when you get out of Alberta, it's very satisfying. And, we had some drinks on Sunday night, and we're all really happy and all smiles, and because it's very accomplishing to get out of there. And, you get out of Alberta, you're immediately expected to do well at the Brier because it's so tough to get out of the province. And so, we plan on doing well there too.
Hey, the Tim Hortons Brier this year is in your adopted hometown, of course, a little added bonus in Calgary. Are you trying to figure out how to keep all the friends and family around from becoming a distraction?
Not really. To be honest with you, I love having friends and family around at big events like the Brier. We play all year on the tour and stuff, and not many people come to watch us regular tour events. They try to come watch the slams and the big events if they can. But the Brier is something different. It's special, there's lots of people out, and it's prestige, and you're playing for your province and playing against all the other top teams in Canada and things like that. So, friends and family, they know the role. They know that, if we have an early game stuff, we're going to be out of there early, and we're there to take care of business, that's for sure. But it's also nice to share it with family and friends who can't always travel across the country to watch and things like that, and people have jobs. And being in Calgary, there's I played in one hometown Brier when I was in Saskatchewan and Regina, and we didn't start so hot, and then we got hot kind of for later in the week, and it was really awesome to have the crowd on your side.
You got hot one game too late that year.
We got hot one game too late. Yep, you betcha. We lost our first 4, and then we won our next 6. And then Jamie Cooey, I don't know how he knocked us out of the playoffs, but he did.
You're playing him again this year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got to get him back for that one in Regina there.
With a new team, you guys.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I'm buddies with JK. I'm just giving him a hard time. But, yeah, like playing in front of your hometown, I can't explain it. It's going to be awesome. Having the crowd on your side every time you make a shot, the crowd goes nuts and things like that. It gives. I don't think there's any extra pressure, to be honest with you. I think we're all more excited than anything. And we travel so much during the year, it's nice to stay home and play here in the Brier, so it's going to be awesome.
Hey, with only Manitoba left to declare a winner, the field is, I think, fairly similar in strength to last year. What do you think?
I actually think it's a little tougher than last year. New Brunswick, Russ Howard.
True.
I know he hasn't been to the Brier in a while, and he's maybe past his prime, but he played unbelievable at the Canada Cup qualifier this year. We were watching him. He made everything, and he's very capable still. I think they're a good team. I think Mark Dacey out of Nova Scotia will be a tough team. I know last year Brian Rayfuse was there, the senior boys, and they did a heck of a job to get out of Nova Scotia, but I don't think they're quite at the level that Mark Dacey's at. Jean-Michel Menard's probably, arguably the best team in Quebec. Jamie Cooey is the best team of the territories. Brad Jacobs, I think, was favored to win Northern Ontario. And I know Jacobou won, and he was there actually when I was in the Brier in 2005. Maybe a little bit of an upset there, I would say. But for the most part, I think most of the provinces got their best or their second best or debatable teams. Like Sean Gill is a really good team out of BC. He hasn't been around too much that the public would know who he is, but he's a tough team to play against. And I know Bob Ursel was probably favored there, but Gill's a good team. Joe Jordison, they're a great team. And I grew up curling with those guys and against those guys, and I know Simmons lost, but I would say those two you could flip a coin.
Gill, of course, brings Mr. Intensity Brent Pierce third into the mix, too. Yeah,
they're fiery. I mean, and you need that. I think you need someone like that on your team to get the boys going and keep everybody sharp and things like that. And, that's lots of the reason why lots of teams win. If you're fiery and competitive, you want it that much more. And he won a Brier and a World Championship, so, they're not going to be there to be pretenders. They're going to come and contend, and I bet you they put up a good fight.
It was Jean-Michel Menard back. You got Martin Kretz' voice out in the ice again. You going to bring some earplugs? Yeah,
that's a painful scream. He's going to have to tone that down a bit, but whatever.
I don't know. Has he toned it down this year at all?
Not that I've seen. We only played him once. I think we played him in maybe Grand Slam in Waterloo. And, he screamed. We have a bad... There was... who's the guy from Alberta here? Ryan Keane. Ryan Keane had the old pterodactyl scream going on for a while. It was pretty aggressive, but Martin Kretz giving him a good run for his money.
It's quite piercing.
It is piercing. It's actually torture, but he can, maybe he'll fix her up a bit.
Maybe he'll work on it over the years here. We'll suggest it to him right here, right now, to work on it a bit. But otherwise, we can't really complain about the women and their sweeping calls if Martin's out in the ice. Hey, let's talk scheduling at the Tim Hortons Brier. It's a pet peeve of Bob Weeks, who writes, of course, for the Globe and Mail and at Bob Weeks on curling.blogspot.com. But here's a scheduling thing that stands out for me. Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., Howard versus Howard on one sheet. And also you guys on the ice against BC and Sean Gill, a team I think will be in the mix. Does that make you scratch your head?
Yeah, I understand that. I totally... I agree with putting the high-profile players and games and stuff on weekends if you possibly can, or night draws. However, I don't really know what they're supposed to do about that. Are they supposed to do the schedule once the teams are declared? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
I think
because they don't really know who's coming out.
I think if you're, I know there's an issue of fairness too, right? You can't have,
No, you can't
PEI
have Northern Ontario
playing every day.
No, you can't. It has to be an even draw and things like that. So, I don't really know. In places like Calgary and Edmonton, to be honest with you, Winnipeg, you're probably going to get a good crowd regardless. But like you said, Howard versus Howard, that's a good game to have at a night game. That would draw the crowd. And, yeah.
Instead, at 6 o'clock, I guess they have Manitoba versus Ontario to put on. But I guess there's a part of me, there's fairness, but there's also you have to earn your way into maybe getting into a little better schedule. I would go for a little more uneven. And maybe if you're a team that doesn't have as high profile, you have a few more, you don't have quite as good a schedule within reason. Yeah,
I don't really know what to say about that. It's a little difficult for me to say if I'm playing in the event, and of course I'm on a high-profile team with Kevin, but, if I'm PEI or the territories or someone who's not favored to win, maybe I don't think it's fair if I'm playing every morning draw. So
that's true. You guys have 3 straight 8:30s, though, eh? You guys have 3 straight 8:30 draws.
Yeah, I you know what? I did see that. I was trying to plan around my my patch appearances with family and friends, and now it looks like I'm going to have to tone it down a bit early in the week. So
I mean, I don't know how many other teams have 3 straight 8:30 a.m. draws, but
yeah. See, we thought we'd get the good draw, see, and we got that one. So that's the cards you're dealt. What are you supposed to do? And to be honest with you, as a player in the Brier, you're excited to be in the Brier, and it doesn't matter if you're playing Glenn Howard at 8:30 in the morning, or if you're playing whoever, Ferd Burford. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You don't really notice that you're not the TV games. Like you're out there to take care of business. And of course, you want the crowd packed. And when it's packed, it's awesome. It gives you an extra little rush. But for the 8:30 a.m. draws, I mean, it doesn't make a big difference to the curlers. It's more for the fans and TV, like you said.
Hey, let's talk about the Tim Hortons Brier and the scope of all the events you play in. It doesn't have the best field in curling, but it is curling's best franchise, I think, and all the players still want to be in it. What do you say to fans who don't get the Grand Slams versus the Brier? What do you say? What do you tell them to look for in both? I think both have appeal. So what do you say to those fans?
Well, you're exactly right. They both do have appeal, and it's not a secret that the Brier field certainly isn't as tough as a Grand Slam field. I think to win a Grand Slam event is definitely tougher than winning the Brier. However, the Brier is a long road where you start at club, and then you go to zones, and then you go to provincials, and then the Brier, and you've got to get on quite of a roll to win those as well. And you're still playing probably 5 of the top teams in the world, rather than 16 with the Grand Slams. However, The Brier is prestige, and it's been around forever. And, we're always trying to grow the Grand Slams and make people realize this is the best curling. Like, I can't really compare it to any other sports. I don't know in what other sports that they have kind of things like that.
Well, I mean, you could
golf has the majors, and tennis has the majors. But they don't have a Canadian or a U.S. championship kind of things like that, do they? Or if they do, they don't.
Well, I mean, you could say, the Masters doesn't have the best field, but it might be the most prestigious major, but it never has the best field.
Yeah, kind of like that. I mean, we still love going to the Brier. The Brier is awesome. I mean, to play in front of that kind of fans, you don't get that kind of fans at a Grand Slam event. Although at a Grand Slam event, you're playing top-level curling every single game. Where at the Brier, it's not like you're not playing top level, but there's the odd game that if you go out and you play average, you're probably going to win.
Right.
So, but like I said, the Brier's prestige, you get lots of fans, the friends and family want to come, you're representing your province, and also with the Grand Slams, you win a Grand Slam, you don't get to go to the World Championships.
Yeah, so, you know what else I think makes the Brier work is that second place is really lousy in the Brier.
That's true. Second place is very lousy, and in a Grand Slam, you're second place. You win $20,000, and everyone's happy, and you get to eat steaks for another month.
Right, and there's another event coming up around the corner. So
exactly, and the Brier, once you lose, you're out. And if you get to win, get to go represent your country, which is unbelievable. We got to do it last year, and it's a great feeling. And to win Alberta, like I was talking with the guys, it's very satisfying. We were very happy with the way we played, and we did play very, very well. And now to go to the Brier, like we're not going to be happy unless we win, of course.
Sure.
We're not happy if we don't win every event, but the Brier especially, we certainly want to go back and try to repeat as Canadian champions, and that's another thing. You can say you won the Brier. There's so many people that don't get to a Brier, that play their whole life and play on reasonably competitive teams, or competitive teams don't get to a Brier, and to win one and then go to Worlds and win a World, it was a roller coaster year, and and the feeling you get when you do it is unbelievable. I can't explain it, and we definitely want to take another run at that.
Hey, a couple days after the Tim Hortons Brier, there's the Canada Cup, probably not the best timing for that event. Any thoughts on when that thing might work better? I seem to think if the provincial organizations could maybe consolidate their playdown process, January or even December might be a better time for the Canada Cup. What do you think?
I think for sure.
There's nothing on the tube that time of year either. It's really good.
No, and it would be good because the Canada Cup is showing lots of the games on TV this year. And the Canada Cup's actually a good event. And like the Canada Cup is another event that you need to qualify for, and you're getting a good quality field. The pools are really tough, and they only take 4 to the playoffs. It's a grind, the Canada Cup, and it's good money at the end of it, and good CTRS points if you're still trying to get to the trials and whatnot. Right after the Brier, it's obviously a little bit of a hectic schedule for us, but like I said, my job's flexible, and Kevin's and Mark and John, so we're all able to go, and we're definitely going to go compete. You don't want to miss out on an event like that, an opportunity to play. And I think in Yorkton, it's going to be awesome.
Well, Cheryl Bernard was saying she heard it was almost sold out. I mean, Kamloops said just had empty arena, so.
Yeah, being from Regina and playing in Yorkton, they used to have the bonds through there, the Pain and Hand Casino. I played in 4 or 5 times, and it was a great event, and it had lots of fans. And Yorkton's a good curling community, and I think that they'll do a heck of a job there. And so with I bet you the presence that they get there, they might consider moving it to a different date. So you get all, because I know that Glenn dropped out.
Yeah, Bob
and I don't know did Bob Ursel drop out as well?
Apparently, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I don't know why they would drop out. I don't really understand that. But anyways, it's a good event. I don't know why teams are dropping out. There's lots of points available. There's good money available, and it's going to be awesome in Yorkton. So I don't know where they could move it. Like
here's a thought. Somewhere. You know what? I think they should look at early or late September. And here's one reason. There's this big gap when curling's not on TV, right, at the start of the year. And then we have it all January, well, not even January, February to the end of the year. There's a lot. I mean, the Grand Slams are on, but the Season of Champions stuff is all at the end of the year. Curling clubs, you get some interest in curling, and then curling clubs are looking for members in September, and you lose all the mojo.
Yeah, well, I know what you're saying about. I think first off, it has to come down to the CCA or, like, say, the provincial committees getting all their provincials on the same weekend. I think that should be a step that the CCA should take, or the provincial committees amongst them. I don't know how to go about it, but I don't like how some provincials are one weekend and some are the next weekend. Then it's tough for scheduling for the Canada Cup or for any other event. So once they get that together and I think that will eventually happen. I'm sure that's the direction they're taking. Then you can probably find a better spot for it. But for the time being, I mean, it works for some teams. It doesn't work for others. But it's a good event. I'm still looking forward to it regardless.
No, I think it could be a good event. It's always like in Kamloops, it was played in front of a half empty or 3/4 empty arena, which didn't help.
80% empty.
Yeah, that didn't help. So
no.
But so a full arena will definitely help. But one of the things too is it's not just the provincial finals that are a problem. I think you've got provinces like Ontario with a zone and a regional and challenge rounds, and unless some of those provinces pre-qualify a few more teams that would be in those events, it's tough to schedule around 4 other weekends. So
yeah, they got to fix that.
Yeah, they do.
Surprising that Wayne and Glenn and those guys have to play zones. Stupid.
Well, yeah, apparently they're finally making some progress towards changing that, but that's a big one to change there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Ben, we end with the run back, so I'm gonna let you have it here.
The run back. All right, let's see it.
The demise of the Chris Schilly Charlie Thomas combination.
Ooh, dicey. Well, I'm good buddies with Chris, and obviously my cousin DJ's on the team. Charlie, good curler, weird dude. Needs to get his head on his shoulders or he won't have a team ever.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I don't know him that well, but,
Well, I know Charlie, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's a great curler, and he's curled with 6 guys in 2 years, and I'll never curl with him again. So, figure your shit out, because you're a good player, and you will be probably a star one day if you figure out what's wrong in your melon. So, that's about it.
That's a very good, unvarnished advice from Ben Hebert.
Yeah, sure.
How about the troubles of your former team, Pat Simmons?
Yeah, very surprising, and I don't wish that upon my buddies. I still get along with Pat and Jeff and them very well. I don't know what disaster, I guess you could call it, because you don't see that coming. They're a good team.
Yeah, and good guys, too. I mean, I would really like to see them turn it around. But
yeah, no, that's like I played with Pat 5 years ago, and he's made the Players' Championship every year and has always won lots of money and done well and put up fights, and they just didn't have it this year. I don't know if it was in their head or what the deal was, but don't count them out for not being in the trials. I'm sure they'll come back sharp next year in the Olympic trials and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them turn around next year and get through that pre-trials.
Yeah, no, me neither.
The lack of broadcast coverage of provincial events.
Well, yeah, you certainly would like to have more. I mean, I don't know how do you go about it, because it's a little weak. I know Ontario did a good job. I actually watched some of theirs on the Rogers online.
So did I. It's great.
Because some of the provincial games are great, and the provincial finals are very exciting events, and some of them are dramatic finishes, and you got hugs and tears after, and they're great. I wish all the provincial finals were televised in every province. They're great games to watch.
I even wish TSN. I don't know how they do that, how they finance the crews and everything, but it would be great if TSN could do even a 1 hour package that summarized all the provincials in advance of the Brier, because like you said, there's some great drama in them, and it might help boost attention. So
yeah, TSN does a great job. They're showing all the games, and they've taken on curling big time here the last couple of years, and to do something like that, I mean, they might have bigger fish to fry, but if it ever came down to it, yeah, those are definitely some good games you'd want to get on tape.
The move of next year's Masters of Curling pre-Olympic event from the ACC to the Hershey Center in Mississauga.
Did it get moved?
Yeah, it got moved.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
they sort of quietly
think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
The ACC, Toronto, you got the Raptors and you got the Jays and you got the Leafs, and I don't know how much Toronto would adapt to that. Curling, like I say, I love curling. It's a great sport, but Toronto seems like a market that would be tough to crack, and especially in the ACC, big building like that. So I'm sure Mississauga will do a great job.
Yeah, it's a fairly ambitious to put that in the ACC, and the Hershey Center's had curling before, and Toronto curlers will go to the Hershey Center as easily as the ACC. So
there you go.
Randy Furby citing you as the biggest trash talker on tour.
Randy Furby's full of shit. He is the biggest trash talker in curling. And you know what? I know he just says that. He's joking. I'm actually good buddies with Randy. I think Randy's a great guy, good curler. And
I know that.
I know the rivalry between him and Kevin, but I get along with Randy great. And I still have a rivalry with his team because I hate to lose to him. But I would actually go out on the record and say Randy Furby probably is the biggest trash talker in curling, besides Craig Saville. Craig Saville is the biggest trash talker in curling.
Saville is he? He's a quiet
trash
talker then, eh?
He's not a quiet trash talker. Saville is the biggest trash talker in curling. However, Randy just says me because he knows he can get away with it. I dish it out enough that I can take it, and it's very friendly trash talk, I would say, between me and Randy. But actual trash talking, I would definitely say Craig Saville is the king. Okay,
well, you know what? I'd like to hear one of you trash talkers mention thecurlingshow.com on your mic during one of your games.
During the Brier?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do.
All right. The female curlers you choose for your mixed team.
Who would I choose? Oh, they don't have to be good. Because mixed is, it's just for fun anyways. Someone that looks good out there. Who would I pick? I don't know.
Well, see, you gave it away. You could have just said you were picking for any reason, shooting ability or not. But now you've cornered yourself. You can go with good looks and ability,
and talent.
Yeah.
And you know who I like? I was watching the juniors. Caitlin Laws. She's money. Very good player.
Yep.
And let's say Ontario Emma Miskew, third for Rachel Holman. That'd be my team.
That's pretty solid.
And we'd probably win. They're pretty good.
I think they are. Yeah, I think Caitlin Laws and Rachel Holman are two of the best women curlers in the country. Yeah, I think the female game is going to get a pretty good review with those two coming up in the women. They seem very good, and they seem to know the game pretty well. And they're Caitlin obviously 2 years in a row going to the Worlds, and Rachel's going to be in the Olympic trials, the pre-trials and the Players' Championship, it looks like, this year. So that's pretty impressive for some junior teams. Yeah, they got a kid who's in grade 12 in high school on their team. So
there you go.
Sitting in the Players' bench at the Continental Cup.
Oh, hangover, hurting, but fun. You don't have to play a lot as a lead in those events.
Yeah, they don't put you in those mixed doubles and everything, do they?
Oh, they should have, though. I would have lit it up.
You would have.
Russ, you bum.
Read
the rules, Jim. Either read the rules, Jim, or let me go play, and I'll read the rules, because we would have won if I would have got to play mixed doubles.
Or you would have read the rules.
Yeah, one or the other. The Continental Cup was awesome. I was saying, I know I was listening to your show, and you kind of downplay the event and stuff, but yeah, you do. But it was the most fun event I've ever played in.
Well, I know it's fun. I did admit to John I thought it was more exciting this year. I know it's fun for the players, and I'd love to see the players get a reward. But last year was brutal. This year was better.
Yeah, it was a beating. Yeah, and it was fun. And then the players' benches. I put on a little comedy show for the team just to keep everyone light and stuff. Everyone was always a little hungover in the morning, so I put on the Benny Heap show a bit and kept everyone light. We had a great time.
Your karaoke skills?
Oh, average. My team thinks I'm above average when I get on.
You have some sort of signature song or something I've heard, but
I sing a little bit of Knock 3 Times. I sing any kind of country tune. Do a little bit of Mac the Knife, Frank Sinatra kind of stuff. I like the oldies.
You know Pat Ryan yet, though, are you?
Not even close.
There you go.
No, he's a star.
Pat's going to be performing at the Brier, actually, isn't he?
I can't wait. I actually saw Pat perform at my first Brier, I think, in Edmonton he played, and he was awesome. So I'm looking forward to it.
And finally, Don Bartlett back in the game with James Paul.
Donnie B, too strong. Plenty of weight, Donnie B.
Plenty of weight?
Plenty of weight. Everything. No, you remember when he played with Kevin?
Yeah.
Every time Kevin, plenty of weight, Kevin. That's Donnie B's signature call. Oh, it's good. Donnie's a great player, and I'm glad he hurt his back a few years ago, so I got to get on Kevin's team.
There you go. Yeah, he did help you out. All right, Ben. Thanks as usual for your candor, and give everybody a chance to name sponsors. John was here just a while ago naming sponsors. Do you have the list in front of you? Because it's a long one.
No, I don't. Let's see if I can remember them all. Well, our title sponsor is Uncle Ben's Ricing It Up. We have Bruce Saville, the Saville Group, H&R Block, Goldline Curling Supplies, Wild Rose Pump and Compression, Fugro, my employer, SESL Geomatics, and am I missing anybody? I don't think so.
I'm going to help you out here. I think you are.
Hold on. Hold on. Where's my jacket? Where's my curling jacket?
No, I think you got it. You got Uncle Ben's, H&R Block, Saville Group, Wild Rose, Fugro, and Goldline.
That's it. That's the 6.
You did it without any notes, so good for you.
Too sharp. They might have to up the cash next year. I just remembered them all. There you go.
Who's it? Yeah, there. Yeah, you did a fine job. Well, hey, Ben, congratulations on getting back to the Brier in Calgary. Good luck at the Tim Hortons Brier in Calgary, and maybe we'll talk again.
We will talk, Dean.
That's Ben Hebert on The Curling Show. Thanks to everyone who's joined the Facebook group, and, of course, thanks for listening. Here's Black Pudding.